Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. I am super excited. So in this video, we are looking at charting tips. And one of the things that, I wanted to point out with Tesla is, identifying the gathering spots. But yeah, let me first give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, y'all, if you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that. We learn and we grow together. So let's get started. Looking at Tesla, y'all, one of the things that I noticed on you just looking out at on yesterday when Tesla just traded sideways for a long time. Tesla normally does not do that. Often, if it does, it's setting us up. That's a different move. It's telling us that something is going on. Disregard all of these lines, y'all, because this is something I've been charting for years. So therefore, it's going to have a lot of lines. Yes, I do need to clean it up, but guess what? It shows me where I could possibly have trouble when I'm in the trade. Now, had to disclaimer. So Tesla normally moves on average. The ATR is $19.24. Again, that could be in either direction, right? And Tesla normally exceeds that amount. So it has been moving sideways. And yes, the high here is 576.30. The low here is 271.52. So from 271.52 to 76.30, it normally moves about $20 beyond per day, right? So for it to go in this sideways movement, and again, looking at it on this 30-minute chart, I like to look at the 30-minute chart. I've said that before because it kind of tells me a story that I like to read, right? So looking at this 30-minute chart, we've been kind of like moving in a zone. Could you have gotten in on the smaller time frames for scalps? Absolutely. But looking at it from a bigger picture, we see that Tesla is setting up for something. There's going to be a move. And guess what? This morning, just looking at it now, it is morning at the time of recording this. Let me say that. So looking at it today, it made that move. We broke out of this area as a support place, 561.52. We remembered that because it hit this before, right? Guess what? We're back in this area again. So we had hit it the first time only to bounce back up to go sideways. We hit it again, kind of made it a little bit weaker. So we test that area, bounced, came back, tried to retest, is this going to be a support place for us? Well, guess what? We chose to, it chose to break through this level here, which we kind of knew that it was setting up for something. Could it have been to the upside? Very well so. But, there's other areas that could have stopped us out. But for some reason, it chose to the downside. Well, guess what? We have made a low of this 245. I'm going to see if I can make that a little bit bigger without taking away from the view. Okay, so we come down to this 245 area here for Tesla. Kind of like gave us a double bottom and it bounced from there, right? So only to come back to this level of 251.27 to find support again. Now, because I trade Tesla and I just remember that 251 area, this could be a place that we could bounce and move back to the upside. However, all of these little lines here is telling me that we could possibly have trouble again. What's interesting to me is we are back in a gathering spot or a consolidation area. I like to see those. Why? Because it tells me that there could possibly be a move, and I don't want to enter my trade or get in the trade or any of that until I understand which direction that's going to be. That's why in this situation, it would have been really difficult to be on the wrong side of this trade. Looking at it on a higher time frame tells me that we're kind of like going sideways. So if I was in it to the upside and it made this move here, I have lost almost everything that I've put into it. If not, if not all of it, some of it. Either way, we in this to make money. So we have to be very careful in this season or in this time of swinging trades and making sure that we're able to put the picture together. I always say, trading is like putting the puzzle together one piece at a time. Or what are we seeing on the higher time frames? What's going on in the news? What's going on with the stock or with the CEO or different things like that. We have to take all of those pieces into consideration when we're trading, and that's very, very important. So again, looking at Tesla in this gathering spot that it's been trading in, and it decided to make a move to the downside. However, we have found support only to try to come back to the upside. I'm going to say this: it would not surprise me to see We come down off of this 245.97. It would not surprise me to see us back up at this 269.98 area. And I'm going to go to the 4 hour, 1 hour chart because I wanted to point something out. Again, I hope this is visible. So I wanted to point something out here. This 245 area, we were here on 331, and as you can see, we bounced from here and moved back to the upside and made higher highs. I mean, we went from 241, which Tesla does that, right? We went from 243.46 only to come back to this high of 277.45. Only Tesla, right? So what would be interesting, to see that we've been trading in this zone here and to come back, find support. Are we going to continue back to the upside, or are we going to make, moves back to the downside? It's very important that we find these places first and make sure that we understand the direction. When you have a strong consolidation like this, you know that there's going to be a strong move at some point. And a lot of times with trading, we have got to get to that place, or getting to that place of waiting on the right move or waiting on the right entry. And I know how it is. Sometimes when the bell rings, we want to just jump in, right? It's go time. It's time to get in the game. Well, we have to sit back sometimes on the sidelines and make sure that we understand the play. What is the play? What's my plan before I jump into this trade? Because without looking at the higher, the higher time frames and different things like that, we may not see the whole picture or the whole game. Let's say that, right? So looking at Tesla, moving in this gathering spot area, we came down. What is the low of this candle? Is 251.57. Well, it looks like we've tested that area before. So should we break back? I'm going to go back to my 30-minute because this is my 1 hour. Again, I like the view of the 30-minute. Let me say that, but I wanted to point this out. So looking at this candle here, the low of this candle, 251.27. Well, guess what? We're above this area here. So I need to watch Tesla if we should break under this low here. So I'm going to set an alert back to the downside to let me know we have broken through a level that was once an area that stopped us before. So if we should break this 250.85 area, we could possibly continue declining. Now back to the upside for Tesla. I'm going to go back again to my 30-minute chart because I like the view of it, right? So I'm looking at this 30-minute chart here. It tells me that Tesla, again, we found support. We're going back. Created our gathering spot. We're going back to the upside. Just know there's a lot of layers here that could very well stop us out. If you ever see the price just gathering in an area, just wait on the move. Let the trade come to you. I can't say that enough. A lot of times we're going to rush into the trade. Allow the trade to come to you. And one of the things I had to learn about trading, it will definitely teach you some things about yourself. Are you a patient person? Can you wait? Are you a disciplined person? Knowing that, having the rules and knowing the rules and not being able to follow those rules or follow your plan is very important. It will tell a lot about you. So I wanted to throw that out there. Just helpful trading tips, let's say that, because you must know. And again, you have to know what kind of trader you are. Again, I'm a visual trader, so immediately my eye went to this gathering spot here that we have been trading in for a while, and I need to watch this area because guess what? Even though this area here was a support place at 261.52, it could very well be a strong resistance area for us as we bounce from here up, went sideways, bounced from here up, came back down, broke through that. So back to the upside, I need to watch this 261.52. It is creating a gathering spot for me, although it's not a long gathering spot. It's just a gathering spot. So I need to watch this back to the upside. My main level here will be above the 258.01. Breaking that level, I will watch right now I'm using the moving average as a support place or a resistance area. In this case, it is our resistance. Now, breaking that, can we get back to that 261? I just realized that ATR trailing stop is right at that 261.34, and y'all, we wouldn't have known that, being that it's there today, we wouldn't have known that yesterday that it's going to be in that area. So that's why I say it is so important that we go back and we mark those areas that we are gathered together. That's why we have, so many different lines on my chart with Tesla, and I can make it visible to where it works for me. But going back and identifying those gathering spots, those are one of the things that, I wish I had knew a lot sooner or understood a lot sooner. But I'm glad that I got it now, right? So immediately going to the gathering spot, realizing that, looking at Tesla, we would yesterday, it looks like we made a move, but we still move sideways. It wasn't the move that Tesla normally does, so we have to be careful with that. So we've been kind of like trading in this zone, trading in this zone. So we have to be very, very careful. We sold out of that zone only to come down, find support to go back. Will it be back to the upside again? Keep in mind on this, y'all, there's always somebody on the opposite end of your trade. They kind of like expect retail investors or retail traders to do X, Y, and Z because those are the things that they had mistakes with, right? So they know new people coming into the market, they're going to probably struggle with kind of like the same things that they struggle with. So they try to strategize, try to distract you. So one of the things about trading is you've got to stay focused, be focused, and stay focused at all times and not rush into the game. Identify your trouble places, which is the gathering spot. Identify your gathering spots, identifying your trouble places. And y'all, when I explain these videos, it's because this is what I see when I look at the market. These are some of the things that I really had a hard time with. I wish I knew, to go to the higher time frames and to identify that this has really just been consolidating for a while. It's been trading sideways for a while. So there's going to be a move at some point. I want to be in that move, and I don't get in until it gives me until it gives me a signal as to which direction that it wants to take. And y'all see right here, breaking through this level here showed me that that was my signal to the downside, because I've been here once, I've been here twice, I broke through it with a strong candle on this one. So that means I'm breaking out of a long consolidation area, and it actually went from 261 down to 245. So that was a strong move to the downside. So yeah, y'all, identifying your trouble places, making sure you can go to a higher time frame to identify that. How long have we've been in this for a while, so I look for a strong move because of that. With that being said, we came down only to create another gathering spot here. Is that going to take us back to the upside? That's something to be mindful of. And with trading, you have to be flexible. You have to learn to go with the trend wherever they are trading. I always say in the market there's buyers and sellers, right? In the market there's buyers and sellers, and when they're selling I want to sell, and when they're buying I want to buy, and when they're selling I want to sell. So I want to go where everybody else is, and then this is one of those places to where we're all gathered together, and we sold all. So I wanted to be in that sale. So yeah, again, this is what I see when I look at the market. There's so many structured ways to learn the market, and a lot of times it's easier to see it when it's in real time, because again, I am a visual learner, and that's one of the very important things. How do you learn? How do you learn? And making sure that you put it together to where you understand it, right? So have an awesome day today. Again, if you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that, y'all, because we learn and we grow together. With that being said, y'all, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.